Hi, I'm Tiffany Oshinsky, and this is Serving Pancakes with League One Volleyball. With the inaugural Love season just around the corner, over the next few weeks, we'll be following some of the biggest women's college volleyball games featuring schools that our players attended. Today's episode features Audriana Fitzmorris. A native of Overland Park, Kansas, Audriana was the number 2 recruit in the country, ultimately deciding to go to Stanford, where she shined as a 3-time All-American opposite hitter and won not 1, not 2, but 3 NCAA championships. Audriana also played on both the U.S. collegiate team and the U.S. youth national team, winning gold at the Global Challenge and silver at the U18 World Championships, respectively. Audriana has played professionally in Switzerland, Greece, Puerto Rico, and Italy, and is now back in the States playing for Love Omaha. Welcome to Serving Pancakes, Audriana. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Very excited to have you. I mean, the time has officially come, right? It's preseason. League One is about to begin. How are you feeling? How are you getting ready for this new chapter in your volleyball career?
Yeah, honestly, it feels a little surreal. I feel like this off season, from the time that the league in Italy ended to the beginning of Love, I feel like 5 years has passed during this time. So I think it's like the longest off season I've had, and I've just been so excited and looking forward and getting ready. So the time has been quite slow.
What have you been doing to prepare for the season?
Yeah, I think after every season, I try to take a little bit of time where I take a step back, kind of reassess like where my body's at, also like where my mind is at. And I think that was really helpful after this past season because it was a really difficult one for me. And so I took that time back and really spent a lot of time with family and friends. And then when I was ready, went back to the gym, started working really hard, getting stronger, and kind of hitting all those goals that I wanted to for this off season to prepare myself for starting with Love.
You said that it was a little bit difficult for you. Why is that?
Yeah, I think it was always a dream of mine to play in Italy and to represent a team in the Italian league. My senior year of college, I actually studied abroad in Florence, Italy, and that was an experience that I absolutely loved. I lived with a host family, and I got to go and watch some of the professional games in Italy and around Florence when I was there. And I was like, oh gosh, I have to play in this league. Just the energy around the league, the level of the league, the fans that are involved. I just really wanted to be a part of it. So when this opportunity came, I jumped at it. But it was difficult. It was a really high level, and I was in the Greek league right before, and that was also a high level, but I didn't really fully understand what this league was going to look like. And also I was coming into the position as a second opposite. So I was kind of coming in and off the court, which is something that I had never been in that second opposite position before. So it really was an adjustment where I was trying to mentally be strong and be ready to go whenever I was needed and know the game plan, the scout, so I could come in and make a difference whenever it was needed, which was amazing, but also at times really challenging. So I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a step back after the season and just reassess my goals and where I was at and kind of build my excitement for Love.
Were you able to do any off-the-court activities that sort of helped you ground yourself to mentally prepare besides family and stuff? Anything like trips or outings or anything like that?
Yeah, I think, over the summer is a great time where you're able to see some friends that I haven't seen in a while. So I took a trip up to the Bay Area, and I spent time with one of my former college teammates from Stanford, and we were house sitting for about 2 weeks up in the Bay Area and took that time to just do a lot of hikes and see all of our friends that are there. We have a lot of connections still around the Stanford area. So it's great to see my old coaches, some old teammates and friends that are still in that area and get a lot of hikes in, which is great. I was also able to go to one of my other former college teammates and friends, Catherine Plummer's wedding in San Diego. And that was a blast. It was a fun Stanford volleyball reunion, and so much fun to be there and support her on her big day. I was also able to go and help and work at the Love camp out in Columbus, Ohio with Serena Gray. And that was at the end of May, and being there and seeing all of the people involved in that and trying to make Love a great league and to connect with the young girls that signed up for the camp was so much fun. It just started growing that excitement even more for this league.
That sounds like so much fun doing all that. And then, I mean, Catherine, obviously Olympic silver medalist now, which is super cool. And then doing the love camps and helping the kids. It sounds like a great time. Now, your team, Love Omaha, I feel like has some pretty awesome players on there. Not, I mean, all the teams in the league have a lot of awesome players on there, but one in particular who's on your team, Jordan Larson. When you found out that you were going to be playing with her, what kind of went through your mind?
I was ecstatic. I was like texting some of my other friends and former teammates too. I was like, "Oh my gosh, did you see us in the team?" I think I love watching volleyball, and I love watching other players that are so technically smart and know what they're doing well, and it looks so easy. They make it look so easy. And she's one of those players that knows the game so well and is just so intelligent with her game that she's been somebody that I've watched over the years. So to be her teammate is something I'm really looking forward to. I think there's so many girls that I'm really looking forward to play in Omaha with, and I think it's what's great is that at this level you're still learning. You're always learning. I feel like every player is learning and trying to improve little things, big things with their game, and I'm definitely at that level, and I love that. I love that I've been playing this sport for 17 years, and I feel like I'm still growing and seeing what other people are doing that's working, and trying to pick little things from that and adding to my toolkit. So to play against her in the gym and play with her in the gym as well is going to be, I think, really exciting.
17 years is a long career. That's amazing. What have you been doing each year to improve? Because I feel like, you know the fundamentals. So what are the little things that you keep working on year in and year out?
Yeah, I love the technical, and I'm very analytical. That's something that I've always known about myself. I like the little details, and I love volleyball in part because the game keeps evolving and changing. And I think I want to try to keep adding to my toolkit. So that means like working on little different shots, or knowing, oh, if this block is blocking this for me, I'm able to hit this. Knowing like when the defense kind of shifts and is taking something away from you, that opens up something else on the court. So I love that where you're working on those different shots, you're working to see better, you're working to, at each level of the game and at each skill of the game, you're kind of breaking it down to little things. And I love that. I love watching film. I love having practice being filmed and kind of looking back and see, oh, I could have done that a little bit better, or I could have done that. I understand that situation. That was actually open for me. It was an easier kill than what I did, that kind of thing. Just always growing and evolving, I think, is important.
Yeah, for sure. Now you get to have Coach Susie Fritz as your head coach out in Omaha. I mean, after all of the years that she spent in college ball, she's now going to the pros. I know she's excited. We had her on the podcast and she was talking about how excited she was to go pro and to coach all of you guys. What are you most excited about having Coach Fritz as your head coach?
Yeah, I am so excited for Coach Fritz. I think I first really got to know her. I took a visit actually to K-State when I was younger. My whole family went, and she was showing my entire family around the facilities and explaining her vision for the program and what she values in a player, what she values as being a coach. And so many of those things just made me really excited and aligned very well. And I loved visiting K-State and talking to her at that time. And I talked with other coaches and I ended up going somewhere else, but I always look back fondly on that visit that I had with her. And so when I found out that she was the coach for Omaha, I was like, no way. It's such a small volleyball world that I think at this point you just kind of know everyone and everybody knows everyone a little bit. And she's just somebody that I think really values the relationship between players and player and coach, and wants to be a mentor, a coach, but also a mentor just for who you are as a person and for life outside of volleyball as well. So I'm really looking forward to work with her and to grow and learn together.
You were like the recruit who got away and now she's got you back.
It just took a little bit of a detour, a few years detour. I'm a little bit older.
It all comes back together, right? Now, you had the opportunity, as I said during the intro, to play in multiple countries. What do you think the difference is going to be between, Greece, Italy, Switzerland, Puerto Rico, and the States?
Ooh. I think there's going to be a lot of differences. I think what I'm looking forward to, that's something that I've loved playing overseas, and I've loved meeting people from different countries and having volleyball and sport as a connector and getting to know each other through that. One thing that has been tough for me is that I have created friendships with people from all around the world, and then I'm there for the 8-month season, and then I leave and I'm going somewhere else, and then I miss my friends. And I'm glad they're still there and we still connect, but I'm also happy to feel like I'm really part of a community here in Omaha, and feel like it's something that I can kind of help build to and give back to and see the growth of that. See a continuation, I think, is really beautiful, because it's sad when I'm somebody who very much values relationships and people and getting to know others, and then it's always a hard time at the end of that season overseas. We're like, I know I'll see you in the future. I'll come back. I'll visit, and we'll now be FaceTiming for a while. But that part is hard, and I love what Love is doing with the community up approach with younger girls. And overseas, I always loved when the club that I was playing with had younger teams, and you got to see them kind of going in and out of practice and maybe some communication. But I love how it's going to be more of a staple with Love, that there's going to be a lot more of that, a lot more of creating those connections and being more of a mentor in that area. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be very built in and different than what I've been experiencing.
Well, let's talk about your relationship with volleyball, actually. So let's rewind a bit and go back in time. Can you tell me, how did you fall in love with the sport?
Ooh. Yeah, I think I was 10 years old, and I was playing CYO sports. I was playing volleyball, basketball, soccer, swam, all kind of with the same group of friends through the same school. And it was a blast. It was so much fun, like trying these different sports with the same group. All the families knew each other, always had going to dinners and little other events outside the sport together. And for volleyball, I grew up actually watching my sister play. She's 6 years older than me. So I would go to her club tournaments and I would grab a volleyball and be on the side of the court and kind of be like messing around a little bit, trying to recreate what I was watching. And I started loving it. So it was a combination of being with a great group and a great team when I was 10, 11 years old, seeing my sister and what that looked like, what volleyball and the game looked like 6 years older than me. Also having stories from my mom. She played volleyball and basketball for the Peruvian national team. So she loved the sports, and I think just her love, my sister's love, and it just kind of came on to me a little bit. And then I picked it up, and then I grew my own love with the sport.
On a side note, my sister is 6 years older than me too, and I feel like she was a big influence on my life in many things. So I totally understand that connection.
Oh yeah, I think it's great. You have somebody who goes through things a little bit old, before you, and then you kind of sit back, watch, learn.
For
mentors,
sure.
take your clothing, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, she would get so mad at me when I would take her clothes.
Oh yeah.
I love you, Aaliyah. No, actually, talking about your mom and your dad, because your dad was an athlete. Your whole family is basically, they're all athletes. So did you feel a pressure at all to play sports, knowing that your parents were such great athletes in their careers, or was it just something that naturally happened?
Yeah, good question. Both of my parents are teachers. So I think first and foremost was always school and academics. And if that was kind of lessening up or the focus wasn't there, then sports was going to go. So I think, yeah, so academics was first and foremost in our household, but they very much nurtured and tried to support our athletic dreams. And I remember it was tough. I mean, club volleyball is expensive, and my mom would put money aside and try to help support the things that I wanted to do in club and some early on USA youth camps and that kind of thing. And I'm just really appreciative for what she did at the beginning to kind of make me and help me be where I am now. But it was very much academics first, and then also athletics if if that piece is doing okay. And then also just having my sister's support to have her advice, again, 6 years older, and kind of showing me a little bit of the path and the way what that could look like.
Well, speaking of academics, I mean, you ended up going to Stanford, which is a pretty good school, I would say, academically. When you decided on Stanford, was it for the academics or the volleyball or both? How did you ultimately decide Stanford? Because I know that you had a bunch of D1 schools trying to recruit you.
Yeah, it was honestly, the recruiting process looking back was kind of crazy. It was kind of a weird time where I'm like a 12-year-old, 13, 14, like picking up the phone call and phone and talking with these coaches at these different schools and being so awkward and so shy and not entirely sure what to ask, but being really excited about this process and the sport. But when I was talking with the Stanford coaches and learning more about the school and the program, I was bewildered. I wanted to go somewhere where it had that balance, where I wanted to pursue the academic goals that I had, but also the athletic goals at a high level for both. And when I went to visit, seeing the campus, driving around, talking to the current athletes, the current volleyball players that were studying electrical engineering or human biology and wanted to be a doctor and had these really high goals and also were excelling so much on the court, it just was somewhere that I wanted to be. I wanted to be surrounded by people that have these big goals and push you to keep dreaming big as well.
You majored in human biology, correct?
Yeah, I did. I was lucky I had some teammates older than me that had similar interests that I was like, okay, what class do you recommend? What do you think about this? And just had those mentors within the team as well. I don't like being bored, and I love, there's things that I'm really excited about, and I'll definitely try to like put my all into those things. And one of them was anatomy. I love anatomy. I think as an athlete, just the connection of your body with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It's very intentional. Like, oh, I move my hand in this way, I can hit a different shot. Okay, well, what is involved in moving your hand in that way? Like, what muscles are being activated and that kind of thing. I've always been very interested in anatomy and sports injuries and sports medicine in that area. So I took a lot of anatomy classes while at Stanford, and then eventually had the opportunity to help be a teaching assistant for an anatomy class, and had so much fun. I love teaching. I love coaching, but I love teaching. I think teaching others about the human body when it's so very relevant, it feels like such a gift, and it was so much fun.
Do you think that once you decide to eventually hang up your shoes and knee pads that you're going to go into teaching, maybe anatomy, or do you think you want to be a doctor? Like, what do you think all of your love of anatomy will eventually turn into? Or do you think it's going to just take you into coaching because you understand how the body moves now?
Good question. And honestly, a question that I've been asking myself the last few years. Because I was kind of debating about the biomechanical side and sports science research. I love that area. While I was also at Stanford, I worked in different labs and had access to learning what that looked like, and doing that during the summers. But on the other side, I've always loved medicine, and being a physician is something that I would love to do. So I was kind of toying between the two and trying to figure out what was the best path for me. What did I still want to do? I'm a little bit older and had a lot of nerves about kind of still going for that path. But I decided this past year that screw it. It's something that I'm really interested in. I really want to be a physician and help patients in that way, and have that type of relationship. And so I took the MCAT this past summer, actually, gosh, like a month or two ago. Time is flying. So I took the MCAT this past month or two ago, and then I'm hoping to be applying for medical school during this season. It's a long process, but I'm hoping to kind of open up that door, and we'll see.
I love that so much. My favorite band is the Avett Brothers, and they have this lyric, "Decide what to be and go be it." And I'm like, you're doing it. You're doing it. You want to be a doctor? Like, let's go. I love that.
Yeah. I think I'm somebody who's so much of an analyzer and overthinker that I kind of overthought this a little bit too much. But it's something that I've always wanted to take the steps to go in that direction, and currently am, and just very excited about that.
Now, you had the opportunity to play with a former high school club teammate, Jenna Gray at Stanford. So what was that like?
Yeah, I played, so many years with Jenna Gray. We played high school club together for those 4 years, and then went to the same college together. We're same age. So that's, same class going all the way through, and have had a lot of success together and a lot of funny stories together, a lot of wonderful moments together. So I'm really thankful for her during my volleyball experience and outside of volleyball as well.
When you decided to eventually go to Stanford, did you and Jenna talk about it beforehand, or was this something that all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to go to Stanford, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to Stanford too?
Yeah, no way. No. It was something that we kind of were open with our communication to each other about, like, oh, what are you looking at? Kind of, oh, yeah, I'm talking to this school, or I might do this visit, or that kind of thing. But we both individually just saw our values aligned with Stanford. We took our visits, and I think individually saw that for us as a person, it was a great place for us, for the academics, for the athletics, and who we are. And then when we kind of figured out we were both going, they were like, oh my God, we're going to 4 more years. Are you ready for this? So yeah, it worked out really well. And just before I was an opposite, I was a middle. So to have that middle connection with my setter and then keep going through, it was, yeah, a lot of fun. Also really, I think, helpful for us both.
So actually, I have 2 questions coming off your answer, but I'm going to ask the first one. I mean, you won 3 national titles with Stanford. Did you think that you had this advantage with Jenna beforehand that kind of helped? I mean, obviously the team, there's a lot of players who were amazing on that team, but do you think that that connection, since you knew each other so well, helped you and the team in a way?
I think it was helpful. I think it was at least helpful for me because I'm sometimes a bit of a quiet person and a player. I try to lead by example, and at times and with my setter, I'm like, I'm going for the set, and I'm calling it very softly. And I'm grateful that Jenna would always like hear it or just kind of know what I was running because, yeah, sometimes a little bit too quiet. So that was helpful, at least for me. She probably would have been like, okay, talk, Fitz, let's speak up a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure where you're at. So yeah, that was helpful. And also just that adjustment to college and the different level, the higher level, and everything else that you're adjusting to have somebody else that you both know where you came from and what you did to get here, I think is also, yeah, all beautiful.
For sure. Now, the other question that I have is, as you mentioned, you started as a middle. When did you make the switch to opposite? Was it your choice? Did you want to? And what was that transition like?
Yeah, another great question. Kind of, I guess, complicated answer in the sense that I started off as a middle. I think I was 6'4" at 14 years old, which I think at that moment or at that time, I didn't realize how tall that was at that age. But looking back, I'm like, wow. And so I was placed in the middle just because I think sometimes tall girls are put there. But I was really thankful I had coaches at that age that were like, even though you're tall, you got to still work on all the skills. And they would let me play back row. And those coaches I had early on, I'm so thankful for that they like pushed that, and that really helped my versatility moving forward. Because through high school, I was a middle, but also in high school volleyball, I also played some outside, I played some right side, was kind of moved around a little bit. Even on the USA side, I was kind of kept going as a middle, but then over the summers for tournaments, sometimes I'd be needed as an outside or something else. And then in college, I'd say the big switch happened after my sophomore year, that we had Moretta Lutz, who was our current opposite, who was an amazing opposite and also an amazing person. She graduated, and Kevin Hambley, my coach at Stanford, came up and kind of had a conversation with me about, okay, you've been a middle, but I think you'd be like a great opposite. I've kind of been waiting for this opportunity to happen, and like, what do you think about it? And we had a conversation about it, and I was nervous. I think I was like very comfortable in the middle position, but I could also see what he was saying about what strengths that I had that could do well in the opposite position, and so I was open for it. I think I've always appreciated my versatility and wanted at the very base, the very foundation, to just be able to help my team. And if this was a way to help my team at that position, that I was for it, and was going to go through the kind of growing aches and pains of switching the position. And it was hard. It was tough. My footwork was like all wobbly for a bit, and just learning tempo and my different shots that I had available in opposite versus middle. But I think being a middle and also in the past being an outside has all kind of helped me at each position just have a more complete idea of the game.
It was tough, but it definitely paid off because, as I keep saying, you won 3 national championships, which is amazing. So, it was out of all 3 of the championships that you won, is there one of them that really sticks out to you the most, one that might be more memorable than the others?
I'd say my freshman year. I think my freshman year, I was just so oblivious to everything. I didn't know how anything worked. I didn't really know how the season worked and how it would go. I came in and talked with John, and I was like, okay, so do you think I can redshirt? Like, he's like, wait, whoa, like you're playing, you're starting. I was like, wait, really? Are you sure? And it was just, yeah, it was just so much fun because it was a year of so many firsts and adjusting. And my freshman year, I think, with Inky Ajanaku as being another middle in this same position as I was, and such a good middle, that somebody that I had looked up to and watched her play for so long. And I think she treated myself and the other freshmen as equals. And her talks to us in the team huddles and her inspiration and motivation just like seeped out of her with everything that she did. So I think my freshman year national championship was a surprise, and it was just so pure and beautiful, and full of so much emotion of my class and our entire team of kind of just goofballs that are like trying to do well at the sport, really just enjoy playing with each other and wanted to just keep playing, because if you keep winning, you get to keep playing. So
now, going back to you, I know that academics has been a big part of your life. Obviously, you're going to be becoming a doctor. But at what point when you were in college did you decide to kind of hold off on a more traditional career, let's say, and decide to go pro?
yeah, it was a difficult decision because my senior year I was kind of toying or figuring out with the idea if I wanted to just take the MCAT at that time and take maybe like 1 year of like a research gap year and apply for medical school during that time and go for it that way in a more traditional approach. But I realized that I still really loved this game. I felt like I was still improving. I felt like there was so much more that I wanted to keep learning and then also giving back to. And I think when I was studying abroad in Florence, I took some time just really reflecting why I was there, and just realizing how much the sport has given to me and how much I've grown through this sport, and just the chance to go and play professionally and just keep seeing how much better I can get there, but then also the relationships that I can keep building and how much more I could keep learning about myself during this process was something that was just very exciting to me. And also I talked with a lot of people about it. I think I'm somebody who just likes to talk with people and see what they're saying and kind of what their input was, and talking with my mentors was really helpful. And just the idea that you can only play for an X amount of time, a short amount of time while your body's still able to, and you want to devote your time to this. And the medical school and field will be there, and you can be there for the rest of your life. You can be a physician for the rest of your life. But this has a little bit of a time period on it, and I didn't want to regret that at all. And I also felt like having more life experience and meeting different people and having experiences in the medical field was just going to make me a better physician, and being able to be empathetic and connect with other people. And I hope that's the case, even though it was kind of a scary decision because it is a little bit more non-traditional, and it's hard. I think taking a few years off from school and then this past summer, like relearning and restudying all the chemistry and physics that I took a few years ago for this big quest was a little daunting. I'll say it. But I'm thankful for it to this point. I'm looking forward for what's to come, and just being here. I didn't know I was going to be here playing in the U.S. When I decided to play pro, I didn't know this was going to be an option, and I'm just thankful for this option that I can be still very committed to the volleyball, but then also have these other goals and work towards them both, and show other girls that you can do this, and go for it.
Definitely. Yeah, you are an inspiration to all the people, girls and boys, whoever, who want to do both, because you can, right? You can. Now, does your family still live in Kansas?
Yes. Yeah, most of my family is still in Kansas City.
So Love Fest is going to be in Kansas City in February. Are you excited to play pro in front of your family?
I am so excited. It's been a few years where it's tough to get family members overseas. I mean, they have their job and everything else, their own life's going on, and I've always been sending links, and they've always been supporting me in every way that they can. But just to be in person again in the city that I love, and to have all the love teams there, and to have my family and friends that are able to come and be there in person, maybe haven't seen an in-person game since college, that's going to be something really special that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun tournament. And I'm sure a lot of the girls who are playing in that youth tournament, because I remember playing in Kansas City when I was younger. If I had professional players nearby that I could watch during my downtime, or on the opposite side when my pool play wasn't happening, I would be there 100%. So I think it's so exciting. Now I want to ask you a few questions. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking that when you were saying that, I was like, I remember it was a 2010, I think, national championship that was in Kansas City. And that was when Penn State won their fourth national championship in a row, and I was there. And I remember watching that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I just want to be on the court. Like I wanted, like this, it really developed my dream of playing in college. So yeah, like being back in Kansas City and playing in that capacity, and young girls seeing that, and just continue to be involved in team sports and in volleyball is something that I hope I can kind of instill.
All right, well, I want to ask you a few questions about your personality and what you like to do off the court to kind of get to know you a little bit. So let's start. What are other ways that you like to spend your time when you're not playing volleyball?
I love to be outdoors. I'm a big outdoorsy girl in the sense that I love to be in the court and in the gym, but then when practice is over, I like to be outside. So yeah, that's a lot of hiking, a lot of swimming. When I'm close to the mountains, I'm close to the beach, I'm a happy person. And just doing things with the people that I love. Just either going to grab a drink together and just catching up, going to see a movie. I love finding new music. I'm always like on Spotify, like trying to find new artists, new songs that I like, and sending them to people that I think will appreciate it. Yeah, I like to tie-dye. There's a lot of random things that I think I'm involved in. But just, yeah, different ways that I can kind of share my creativity, have a little creative outlet, even if it's not great. I love to dance. I'm 6'6", and I'm probably not a great dancer, but I love dancing and just like having fun with it and going dancing with friends. Yeah.
2 follow-up questions. 1, what artists are you into right now? And 2, what things do you tie-dye?
Good questions. Right now, I'm in like Teddy Swims, Noah Kahn,
Love Teddy
Bear. Yeah, I'm in like kind of a chill area, I guess, at the moment. And then tie-dye, I like to tie-dye shirts a lot, t-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, socks. Yeah, anything white that I find that I own, I'm like, this could have some color to it.
So I saw on your Instagram, I know you said that you love to dance, but I saw on your Instagram that you did karaoke not that long ago. So are you a big karaokeer?
I do love karaoke. Again, I recognize I do not have the voice for it. It's not a great singing voice at all. But I think it's just fun, like, just, I don't know, like not caring what people think, and whether that's dancing or karaokeing. I have a ton of notes on my phone. The Notes app has a certain amount, and one of them is like songs to karaoke that I've thought about in the past, and I was like, I need to write this down because in the moment I'm going to choose a different song that is not for me. I need to remember this and check my little Notes app and see, okay, maybe I could do this one, like a little bit in key.
We went karaokeing with my adult league volleyball team for my birthday, which was recently, and I pulled out my note that had my list of songs, and one of my teammates was like, you have a list of karaoke songs to sing to? I'm like, well, yeah, just in case I forget.
Yeah, just in case. And you think some other songs like, oh, this is good for me, and then like, no, past yourself was like, don't think about that one, maybe this one would be a good one.
What's your go-to?
Oh gosh, I've done everything. I don't think I've done one song twice, so I don't really have a go-to yet.
Wow,
maybe
really?
I'll develop one.
Oh, exciting. Always a mystery when you're at the mic. I love it. Now, thanks to your international travels, your ability to play pro all over, I mean, you playing youth volleyball on Team USA and like being able to travel all over the world, you've done a lot of cool things off the court with your travel. I know you said you like to go to the beach, you like to hike, stuff like that. So what's been your favorite place that you've been to, and what's on your bucket list of still to visit?
Oh, gosh, that's so hard. I love traveling. I love just being dropped somewhere new and just figuring it out and figuring out where to go and where to eat and meeting new people. Um, I really love Switzerland because of the nature. It's just every lake, every mountain, it just looks beautiful and clean and like it looks like a green screen, straight out of a green screen. Um, I was able to go paragliding with a few friends in Interlaken, and you get to see so many different lakes and mountains, and paragliding was so much fun. I did it tandem, and I didn't realize it beforehand, but if you're the taller person out of the two, you're the last one kind of running, going off the mountain. And then when you're landing, you're also the first one running as you're landing. So we were running off the mountain, and there was quite a while where I was just the one running. And I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, the other person I'm with is about a foot shorter than me. But it's so much fun.
That's awesome. Where's a place that you really want to go to or see?
Gosh, I want to go to Norway. There's quite a few places on my bucket list. I'd say Norway or New Zealand are two that are up there at the moment. I have some beautiful hikes, enjoying nature, doing that with friends. I love a good bonfire and s'mores and just talking to people around a bonfire, and to be surrounded by beautiful nature is up there on that list. So I think Norway and New Zealand are there. I want to go back to Peru soon, just where my mom is from, and just again go back with her and kind of see more of where she grew up and that side as well. But I think the bucket list is long, and a lot of other activities it's long, but I hope I can kind of slowly scratch those off.
All right, last question for you. Bringing it back to love, what are you hoping to showcase in the inaugural season? What do you want fans and media and just the general public to learn and see and know about love and volleyball?
Ooh, I think just seeing the intention behind all the people creating love and a part of love, it's just such a pure intention of trying to create a league that really supports the athletes and the players and everybody involved. I think something that's been really exciting for me to be a part of is just seeing the why behind everything. Whether it's being on a call and talking with the person about why they designed the jerseys the way that they did, or why the volleyball rules this way, or the why of all of this. It's just really well intentioned, and the people behind it really want to create something special. So I hope the media and the people around it see that. They see the community up approach and the connections and the benefit from that, to see girls that are older than you doing something that they love and chasing their dream. And just people that are so excited to be a part of this and the creation of this, I think the energy is infectious, and I think the media and everyone around it will see that.
I love that. Well, Audriana, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me on Serving Pancakes, and good luck this season.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for watching Serving Pancakes. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. You can also listen to the podcast version on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.